And things are going to continue to be on the hot side out there. So like the pupper in the picture, definitely want to find a way to stay cool. We'll have your complete forecast here in just a little bit. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onig. This is Weather Overtime. As of Friday evening, we are live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, keeping you updated as to what is going on across much of the area when it comes to anything involving the weather forecast. If you're in this area, drop your location into the comments section. We'd love to see and hear from you there. And if you're not in the area, wave hello anyway. Just let us know where you're coming in from. We cover the areas of southeast Tennessee, North Georgia, northeast Alabama, and areas of western North Carolina. So, again, that's our particular viewing area. But if you have a question about anything, go ahead and drop it to the comments section. Coming up, hotter temperatures into the weekend. And if you saw the fireball last night, looking northwest from Chattanooga, the American Meteor Society would love to know what you saw, where, and any other details. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and hop on into it for tonight and show you a dolphin in the sky. Nice little picture there from News 12 viewer Geeta Patel. Hope I'm saying that correctly. In Hickson. That's our weather window picture of the day. And if you've got weather pictures, if you're taking some over the weekend or into next week, please forward them on to us at pictures@wdef.com. You can also go to our website, wdef.com/photos, and you can also drop them to our social media pages. So get some more going on there if you'd like to. Downtown Chattanooga, rather on the dusty side on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. A lot more pollutants, a lot more smoke hanging around the lower sections of the atmosphere because of the fact that we've got high pressure doing a good job of dominating the entire area, and that's keeping things very stable, very dry as it pushes the moisture pretty much away from us. Pretty decent traffic, a little bit on the heavy side for this time on Friday night. A lot of folks in motion. Friday night football going on for tonight. 153 and 64. Traffic, again, moving along very nicely. Looking over the north flank of Lookout Mountain, and again showing some decent views here. Broad Street with the 7-Eleven across the street from the News 12 viewing area, and hopefully a good moonrise coming up here relatively soon. Moonrise over the last couple of nights has been beautiful, and we should be seeing decent, clear enough skies for that into tonight. The moon will rise at just about 10:45, so a little bit less than an hour from when we're recording this. So hopefully we'll be able to see that moonrise coming up here in just a little bit. We will be on time tonight. The Democratic National Convention is over with, and it's Friday night football, so sports is going to take over most of the evening newscast at 11 o'clock if you'd like to tune in to find out more there. From the area around 2475, everything again, holding steady for now. No major amounts of travel out there at this point. We'll continue again to see some good traveling conditions over the course of the weekend. So that is at least some good news for travelers out there for right now. And quiet, dry, looking back toward Erlinger Hospital on 4th Street and off to the northwest where we had a pretty good sunset for tonight. We'll try to get that in motion for you coming up here in just a little bit. 82 at the airport, so we did have some very nice conditions out across the area today. As we'll take a look at the almanac in just a little bit. Winds out of the east-southeast. Humidity for this time of the evening is pretty doggone dry, so we have had some very nice conditions out there, not as blazing hot as it could be. Wish I could say it would be staying that way, because as of right now, it definitely will not be doing that into next week. Temperatures across the area a few minutes before 10 o'clock Eastern, back in the high 60s in North Carolina and back into the lower to mid 70s. A few 60s around Fort Payne, Alabama, and Ellijay in Georgia. Very nice otherwise. Not seeing, again, any major concerns out there for tonight. The dew points are on the rise, and we'll see more of that coming up in the course of the next several days. Big picture looks something like this, which does have a lot of dry conditions across much of the region, and all thanks again to high pressure, which is sitting back to our north and east over the midsection of the Atlantic. And that area of high pressure that you're looking at right there is doing a very good job of a couple of things. Number one, it's keeping things very stable and dry where we are. Some showers over the Great Lakes being blown away from us up into parts of Canada, and any moisture being kept at bay by this area of high pressure, driving it off the East Coast and the Gulf Coast. Number two, we're looking at the heat from out west starting to kind of bend around here a little bit, and that is going to be, in combination with the area of low pressure coming in from the west, that's going to help to move a lot more in the way of hot temperatures our direction. And number three, this area of high pressure is basically acting as a ginormous stop sign to anything that is trying to go across the country. So until this breaks down a little bit, very strong area of high pressure swirling around in the northern hemisphere. As long as this sticks around, nothing else is going to be coming in from out west. So I don't see anything changing in the course of the next several days. Now, next week, we might see some changes, but let me tell you right now, confidence is not high in regards to anything that will be happening our direction anytime soon. So for Saturday morning, not too bad. Temperatures back in the 60s for lows, high 80s to right around 90 degrees tomorrow, and again, high pressure sticking around. As we go into Sunday morning, not quite as cool, and then back into Sunday afternoon, the heat being driven up this way by, again, that flow coming in from off that high pressure is going to bump our numbers back into the lower to mid 90s. Monday morning, back to the bus stop, temperatures in the mid to upper 60s, and then high 90s again for Monday afternoon. For Tuesday morning, 60s and 70s, high pressure sitting smack on top of us as it wanders around the southeast, and even these fronts coming in, not going to be able to do too much of getting us any chance of any rainfall coming up. And Tuesday afternoon temperatures, by the time the kids head home from school, we might be looking at high 90s, maybe even close to the triple digits. So that walk or that bike ride home might want to include an extra container of ice water in the thermos for the kids. I remember doing that walk or bike ride home when I was a kid, and that extra ice water in the thermos in my backpack really helped save me from getting too roasted. And we're talking about summers back in Topeka, Kansas there. So next few days, up we go, not seeing any chance of any rainfall coming our way really anytime soon. As long as it is decently dry, we're going to continue to see the possibility of more wildfires. Now, for the last couple of hours, this has changed since News 12, Prime News at 7. More wildfire smoke, the thickest into the Plain States. We have dozens of new wildfires from Chesapeake Bay down to the Gulf, and that is helping to escort in even more areas of smoke, and we will continue to see the possibility of that sticking around as those fires continue to lift that smoke up into the atmosphere. Now, a lot of those are wildfires. Some of them are prescribed fires. Some of them are contained 100%, but not all of them. So again, if you see a fire around where there usually is none and there's no fire crews or fire department watching it, might want to call your local authorities to make certain that they know about it, just to be on the safe side. Next few days continued on the dry side, and also seeing the temperatures on the hot side into the next few days. We will be experiencing some very warm numbers, again, well above normal temperatures across much of the southeast United States from August right on into September. And it looks like most of September is going to be on the warm side. The hottest conditions will be well out toward the Intermountain West. Record highs, we'll have to wait and see about that. That's probably not going to help the firefighting efforts out that way. What are we looking at when it comes to precipitation? According to the Climate Prediction Center, smack right in the middle, normal. The best potential of rain, New England down to the Gulf Coast. The lesser amounts of precipitation will be all the way out into the Plain States, the desert Southwest, the Four Corners area. We're just not seeing, and technically this would be good news. If we were to stay normal, that would be great. That means we should be, at this point in time, somewhere well above where we are right now, because the almanac page put us at spot on normal for temperatures. 89, that's exactly where we should be for this time of the year on the high temperature. 64, we were below that, comfortable into the morning hours. But take a look down on this section of the screen. Precipitation numbers, goose eggs again. We are 2 2/3 inches behind for the month of August. We've only gotten 13/100ths of an inch in the rain gauge. We should be at, what is that, 279. We should be, again, right about 2 3/4 inches, leveling off. That's where we should be for right now, and we're not. We should be at about 35, 36 inches of rainfall, and we're closing in on 8 inches below normal, which means that if my math in my head is correct, as we go into the next several months, we've got 4 months, give or take, left in the year. We need to get 2 inches of rain per month through the rest of the year. That's no guarantee. Now, November, typically one of the rainier times of the year around here, so we might see that made up a little bit. But for right now, we are working on one really big deficit of numbers, and we could definitely use some help on that. We are just not getting that at this time, so not seeing anything in the way of help out there. So for tonight and into the next couple of days, let's go ahead and take a look and see what we've got on the 7-day forecast. Numbers, again, tomorrow close to normal. We were right at normal today, and then heading upwards into the next several days. Triple digits not out of the question. High 90s into the end of next week. Friday night football, if Brian Armstrong, News 12 sports anchor, is watching, we'll probably have to shove this away by a couple of days. We'll see how well that works, but for right now, that is our best possibility of anything involving rainfall in the next few days. And 20% chance this far out over this many days. Confidence at this point was not really all that high. If it were a little higher, we would probably see a little bit more in the way of percentages of rainfall. But for right now, we just do not see anything that's going to help us out anytime soon. Beautiful for being outdoors. Hot, yes, but for outdoor activities, not really seeing too much to worry about for now. That's something we're going to have to watch out for. Sylvester the Spider making a cameo appearance there. Next few days, again, please use caution with anything involving fire outdoors, and that includes barbecue pits, that includes welding equipment, and that also and especially includes the cigarette butts. Do not toss them out of the car window. I know it's a very easy thing to do. That's obvious because we see so many of them on the roadways, and those things take decades to completely and totally break down. But in the next several days and weeks, until we get some decent amounts of rainfall coming on through here, we will be seeing the potential for a lot of problems. Reminding everybody that while we do not have a county by county by county burn ban situation in effect, there are statewide burn bans for a certain period of time during the year. For Hamilton County specifically, and this from the Hamilton County Air Pollution Control Board, from May the 1st through September 30th, no burning of commercial or residential areas type stuff, yard waste, leftover construction equipment like wood and things like that. That is not allowed in Hamilton County. And again, that's from the Air Pollution Control Bureau. Now, going out to a wider range, again, so far, not seeing anything in the way of any county by county strict do not burn local mandates coming on through for any of the News 12 viewing area counties. This is definitely something you want to check in with on these websites. You can check in and see what the current situation is when it comes to burn bans, because if you do have areas like garden areas, fields, that you want to get rid of that waste, that's possible if you get a burn permit, if that's allowed at this particular time of the year between spring and autumn. Anything during summertime, you really need to check. So if you had anything to do like that, first of all, this is not really the time to do it with conditions this dry. Getting worse and no rain seen on the horizon, I would really make absolutely certain that you can do something like this. Again, if you need a burn permit, I would check in with the local state forestry officials. I would call your local fire department, the fire marshal. I would double, triple, quadruple check, because all it's going to take is one stray spark, one stray cigarette butt someplace, and we are going to have a big problem. You already saw how many new wildfires there are from our wildfire map from just a few minutes ago. Now, from Georgia, we're taking this information from their website, but part of their website involving burn bans has not been updated for nearly 6 years. So if anybody at epd.georgia.gov could look into that, just to be on the safe side, because right now I'm taking this information with a grain of salt because of the fact that, again, that information being so old and we don't have an actual update from them on this, as opposed to the other states around the area. Anybody at state of Georgia forestry website or state forestry department, please take a look at that map, because that's very old information and basically useless to the public. So hopefully there's an update out there someplace. If I don't hear something pretty soon, I may have to make a phone call or two down there just to check in and see what is going on. All right, into the tropics, and again for the Atlantic, we'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit. But into the Pacific, things are much, much busier. We've got a tropical storm, Hone. We've got Category 2 Hurricane Gilma, and we've got a new system over here. It has been a disturbance for the last few days. Now, according to a certain cable weather outlet, this was being called an area of investigation, but as of right now, so far, there is nothing on here to indicate, as far as I know, give me just a second here to get everything updated, that we do have anything in the way of a new area of investigation, even past the 8 o'clock hour update. So for right now, it looks like my web browser has decided to crash once again, so we may not get the... Well, okay, now it decided to show up. For right now, again, Hone is the closest one, and this is something that if you're going to the area, let me see if there's something here. Okay, as of right now, do we have one? No, we didn't. Well, okay, maybe we do. Okay, I do not think. Yeah, I guess it is. Invest 91W. So doesn't appear. This one looks like it's going to be curving its way back toward the north and to the northeast. So this one does not appear to be too much of a concern. No, I think I'm wrong. That's way the heck over there by Japan, so pardon me. So right now it's just a disturbance and nothing else. So that's decently good news. If you're heading for the Hawaiian Islands, the big island of Hawaii now has a tropical storm watch attached to it. Again, as the storm rotates through here, the islands over here, the storm here, the storm winds rotating this way, so this may shove a lot of rain and wind onto the Hawaiian Islands in the next several days. Gilma looks like it'll be weakening to a tropical storm. Hone is expected to go south of the Hawaiian Islands. Gilma might make a direct hit as a tropical storm or less. Still a little iffy at this point. Again, keep it tuned to the National Hurricane Center and News 12 for more. A lot of dust in the Atlantic, and even more expected over the course of the next week. Looks like a pretty good pulse of dust about ready to launch itself off by later on during the week. That dust is responsible for lessening the effects of anything in the Atlantic to develop new storm systems. And as of right now, it's working. We're not seeing anything in the way of development, and we'll continue to see that in the next several days and weeks. Nothing showing up on the National Hurricane Center 2 to 7 day forecast. So for right now, there's hardly any impulses, a couple of minor ones through here, and a couple of systems over the Bahamas and Cuba that are moving their way to the west. These not really expected to do too much of anything for right now, but it is something to watch. And for Florida, you may see some major rainfall events taking place in the next 24 to 48 hours with these disturbances going across. But beyond that, there's just really not that much. For right now, that's the way it looks. And hopefully, again, that holds steady, because in the course of the next several days and weeks, more activity expected into portions of the tropics. And again, really starting to ramp up, so keep it tuned to News 12 for more information on that. Wish we had better news where the heat is concerned here, and also for climate change. Remember, in the northern hemisphere, it's summertime. In the southern hemisphere, it is wintertime. And this right here is another good example of why we need to pay attention to what's going on with climate change in wintertime in Oodnadatta, South Australia. The highest winter temperature ever recorded in South Australia in the triple digits. That, again, is just way beyond scary to see stuff like that happening. And thanks to Nahel Belgerhers, hope I'm saying that right, and also thanks to Extreme Temps for keeping us updated on what's going on out there in regards to the extreme temperatures around the world. Once again, as we go into the weekend, please remember International Observe the Moon Night is coming up in September 14th. That's a Saturday, 7 to 11. The Barnard Astronomical Society will be holding a party to observe the moon night with telescopes and binoculars at Greenway Farm, 5051 Ganstore Road in Hickson, Tennessee. Your opportunity to see more about what's going on with science and astronomy out there. If you have pictures weather-related, the World Meteorological Organization invites you to send in those pictures to compete in for a shot at being one of the pictures for their 2025 calendar competition. The deadline for entry is coming up in about just shy of 10 days. So you don't have much time to get your picture in there. That deadline is September the 1st. One day after that, NOAA marine sanctuaries, where areas of land or ocean or both or beach or tide pools or swamps or anything like that are set aside to not be developed, not be mined, not be turned into beach condos, not to do anything like that, and to improve and maintain the health of the coastal communities under the water or out of the water. And they're holding their photo contest called Get Into Your Sanctuary. If you'd like to know more about that, the rules involved, the subject matter on there, taking pictures beneath, on top of the water, at the beach, various locations. You'll find what you're looking for there at the website sanctuaries.noaa.gov if you'd like to know more. And that deadline is coming up September the 2nd. So you do have a little bit of time to get those pictures in. So please do so on that. Love to see what you are looking at out there, and so we can let people know about that. And also to see just really kind of cool to be able to get your pictures in for a contest like that. From the Pew Charitable Trust, well, first start off, thank you, friendandroofing.com, for being our weather sponsor for our weather quiz of the day. According to a poll in 2023 by the Pew Research Group, what percentage of Americans say we should never stop using fossil fuels? And Pew interviewed over 10,000 people for this, so a decent slice of the population. A three-way tie for the bottom, 15, 25, and 55%, all wound up with 18%. 46%, the majority of you, voted for the correct answer. According to Pew Research on the poll, a full just over 1/3 of Americans say we should never give up using fossil fuels whatsoever. Why you would think that these days, I have no idea. But once again, good opportunity to take a look at what people are thinking. That's our friendandroofing.com weather/science/climate poll of the day. And that, again, brought to you by more information. Oh, one more thing, as long as we're talking about climate change here, thank you very much again, friendandroofing.com, for being our poll sponsor on here. Want to take a look at one more thing. Did not feature this on News 12 tonight, but this is also very important, and this also from Brian McNulby, Senior Research Associate at the University of Miami Rosenstiel School. The highest Gulf of Mexico content on record from a couple of days ago. And this one, this happened yesterday, technically for us Thursday night, Friday morning in the Persian Gulf. This was exceptionally powerful to see right here, but Colin McCarthy from U.S. Stormwatch posting this information about what happened very early Friday morning in Doha, in Dhahran, in Saudi Arabia, just northwest of Qatar. The temperature at midnight, the heat index, right next to that tropical moisture of the Persian Gulf, 134 degrees at midnight. The water temperature of 95 degrees in the Persian Gulf. As he says here, this is near the upper limit of human survivability. Unbelievable, these temperatures. And at midnight, that in some cases was as cool as it got in some spots, combined with that healthy amount of humidity off the Persian Gulf. Really incredible right there. If you still think climate change is a hoax, I invite you to examine the data like what we feature here and on numerous other places, just to make certain that you are aware of what's going on, so we can elect leaders that do care about climate change, as it is not a hoax. Senator Jim Inhofe from Oklahoma, with his snowball stunt on the Senate floor, very not impressive and very backwards thinking of him. He passed away recently, so I'm not trying to speak ill of the recently deceased, but still, a leader like that should know better. And that is something that is just absolutely important for all of us, our elected leaders and those who elect them, to pay attention to. So for tomorrow, again, starting off Saturday, highs back in the high 80s to lower 90s, and not getting any better from there. So expecting some very hot conditions over the next few days. So find a way to park yourself in front of the fan. Definitely want to make certain you're keeping that ice water flowing if at all possible. Make certain you're staying hydrated, especially if you're doing anything outdoors in the next several days, because it's not going to be getting better anytime soon. We'll have updates on your forecast through our website through the weekend at wdef.com/weather. We'll have updates on Saturday and Sunday nights on News 12 at 11. And next week is going to be kind of a topsy-turvy schedule, so I will be doing the morning, noon, and evening shows Monday and Tuesday. Chip Chapman's taking a couple of days off, and then he'll be back to work on Wednesday, and then I'll be taking a couple of days off toward about the end of the week to rest and recuperate from this unique schedule that we have here. So if you got any questions, let me know. Email address, bottom of the screen, at aonic@wdef.com. Thanks to everybody on Twitch and YouTube for stopping by and taking a look at things for tonight. And again, please be weather aware. Please be safe. If you're heading to the coastal areas, anywhere near an ocean, from Central America up through New England, please pay attention to what's going on with the weather. These storms, if they develop, could rapidly intensify, and you may need to evacuate. So if you're going on vacation near the beach, pay attention. Let's all be weather aware, and let's all be careful. Here's hoping you have a wonderfully happy and safe weekend. Let's all be careful out there. And I'll see you again coming up tonight on News 12 at 11 for the Friday night overtime show. And of course, I'll be back early Monday morning, so stay tuned for more there. Live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee on Friday night, the 23rd of August. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek. Thanks for joining us tonight on Twitch and YouTube, and we'll see you again coming up next week.